Okay, 6:30 local time. Welcome to the Green Mountain Water and Sanitation District's regular monthly meeting. I'm Roger Wendell, Board Vice President.
Art Martinez,
Karen,
present.
whoops, just a moment. Karen Morgan, our president, is working remotely this evening, so I'll try to officiate. Let's take a roll call and see who's here to see if we have a quorum. Again, Roger Wendell, present.
Art Martinez, present.
Bill Partinger, present.
Karen Morgan,
Dave?
remote.
And Director Whiteman. We'll wait just a moment. We have 3 directors working remotely this evening. And one is having difficulty connecting. Director Weichman, are you with us?
He's joined on his computer, but he hasn't called to connect on his phone so that he has to.
Okay, all right, we'll count him as present. We do have a quorum. I want to take this opportunity to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll take this opportunity to see if there's any additions or deletions for the agenda. I wanted to add one agenda item. I don't know if it's appropriate at this point or not. But I'd like us to consider a time set aside at the beginning of each meeting for a president's message. So I don't know how we can include that in this agenda, or we can wait and do it for the next meeting. Any thoughts on that?
Like of the president of the board?
Yes, the president of the board, everybody present. Just a quick opportunity at the beginning of each meeting for the president to provide remarks before the public comment period.
You could move to amend the agenda to add that today or for all future agendas.
We have a motion from Director Hardinger to move that to for this meeting or for all future meetings.
Just this meeting.
I'd like to, do we have a second?
I'm
I'll
sorry,
second
can you,
that.
okay, so under discussion, I'm sorry, is the motion to have that a message from me at this meeting, or would it be a discussion for tonight to have?
It's something that came to my attention in preparing for tonight's meeting in your absence. And that I think it's a good opportunity for the president at the beginning of the meetings, all future meetings, to address anything of immediate concern that should be brought to the attention of the board and the public. Just a quick moment to make comments.
Okay, I guess, so my question is, are we changing the agenda tonight to include that debate, the discussion on whether to add that? What is the
Well,
motion
Director
exactly? Can you
Hardinger
repeat?
Director Hardinger said for tonight only. I'd like to amend that and make it for tonight and all future meetings.
Okay, so the motion was to have a president's message tonight.
Yes.
Okay,
And if you would prefer, the mover can amend his own motion.
okay. Well, it sounds like to me, the motion was to have a message tonight, and the discussion from the second was that you would like more discussion, so I will vote no but suggest that we and have a follow-up motion to add this to the agenda as a discussion item for tonight on how to implement it. Or where to put it.
Okay, so we've got a motion on the table for a president's message or brief discussion for this meeting. And there's an amendment to make it effective for this meeting and all future meetings. So do we have any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amended motion? Okay, we have one, or I'm sorry, we have two.
Yeah, I guess I am still stuck on this is a change of agenda portion of the meeting. So
Yes.
my thinking is that we would have a discussion about whether to change the agenda beforehand. And that's what I thought you, Director Wendell, were suggesting, that we would have a discussion later on under new business about this. If the motion is to implement this directly, then I am voting no.
This is Art Martinez. I'm voting no too.
And Director White.
Your phone is muted or not? Okay, Dave, you can press *6 to unmute.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I voted no.
Okay, the motion fails. Thank you. All right, let's take this opportunity for public comment. We don't have any of the public in the meeting room with us this evening. Does anybody online care to make a comment? And again, as a reminder, we limit this to 5 minutes. It's usually not a debate or a discussion. We ask that decorum be maintained. And I think I see one hand, Ludmila. Ludmila, you're on.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies, whoever's online, I can't see. I'm just hoping my computer doesn't go bye-bye. So thank you so much for having the meeting the other night. I was really impressed with the outcome. I wish there was more people, because now they're all interested in asking questions, and so be ready to answer them. So thank you, everybody, for being very cordial to everyone that came. I think they really appreciated all the information. And Sam, it was so nice meeting you. You are just as handsome online as you are in person. And Dylan, it was such a pleasure to meet you. So that's it. Thank you, thank you. And it was, Josh, thank you. It was very nice talking to you. Everybody was full of information. Everybody was just very, like I said, very cordial. And I can't say any more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ludmila. It was good meeting you there as well. And actually, the attendance was more than we expected, because we had to actually bring in more chairs. So that was a plus. And we certainly want to thank Art for the audio equipment, and certainly staff for putting it all together. Well done. Thank you. Let's see here. Okay, approval of the minutes is the next agenda item. And in addition to being vice president, I am also secretary, and I'm generally in favor of the minutes that were taken last time around. However, I do have one question. In our meetings from our last regular meeting in February, in our minutes from the last regular meeting in February, the board tabled a topic for next regular meeting as no motion was brought forth. And that again was, I believe, to discuss agenda procedures. Am I understanding that correctly in the meeting? In other words, in our last regular meeting in February, we wanted to change or amend agenda procedures, but then we decided to table it. Did that come out? Is that how everybody remembers it? I'm a little bit, Karen.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
So as such,
I'm
okay,
remembering clearly stating that it was up to David. There was no motion to table it. And I remember stating that it was up to him to add it to the agenda if he wanted to bring it up again. Nobody was interested at that time. There was no motion to table and bring it up again. So I
so
did
there
not
was
think
no
it had the
motion.
support. No,
because it's not an agenda item this time around, as we discussed a few minutes ago.
that's
So
right.
that being said, if it's clear to everybody else, I move that we approve these minutes for the February meeting. Second. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving those minutes as they stand?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like we have all five in agreement. Thank you. Part two of this is, it's my understanding we probably should have some kind of record or minutes for the March 3rd town hall meeting. Kind of a gray area. It's, Dylan, if you wouldn't mind maybe addressing it briefly.
Yeah, I think there should be minutes produced for the town hall meeting because it was a public meeting of the board that was called to order and at which a quorum was present and at which public business was discussed, even though no formal action was taken. So it would be characterized as a work or study session, but it was a meeting for which I believe there should be minutes.
Okay, so maybe we can make a note for our note takers to kind of compile something in that regard for our next meeting for our consideration. And Josh is shaking his head in agreement. Karen, you've got your hand up. Director Morgan?
Can that be something as easy as we called a quorum and public discussion ensued? How detailed does it need to be?
Yeah, you don't need to have, for example, recitation of the questions asked and the answers given. I think. Yeah, something as simple as presentation by the board regarding the issue, question and answer session follow.
Okay, so would that need to be, can we do that? That's like we could do that one page in-house. Does that meet your need? Director Wendell, did you have other considerations? Because I mean, I think we could do that rather than submitting it to our note taker.
Right, I think that would be satisfactory. So I'll strike that from the record. We do not need that from the note taker. We'll just do that in-house and we'll approve it in April. Or consider its approval in April. And Josh says he'll take care of that. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 6, financial matters, daily monthly operating expenses, capital expenditures, and investment reports. Director Harding. And Director Wendell.
I am, as a board member, still in training, being tutored by Josh on the various aspects of how this institution functions. So far, it's been very good. I'm learning a lot. That's all I really have to tell you right now. Keeping an eye on the financial matters as a treasurer is another interesting thing because we seem to be better than solvent financially, but we're also preparing for restoring or replacing a lot of our pipes in the process. And we seem to be doing very well in being able to afford this. So we're doing fine.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the financials?
I will
I
move
motion to approve the financials.
Okay, we have a motion from Director Morgan and a second from Director Martinez. Discussion. I do have a few discussion items and I wanted to preface it with this. In the past, when I was treasurer, I'd often lament the ADA requirements of getting the financials up on the website. We explained that a number of times to the public, but as it stands now, anybody can obtain our detailed financials online at greenmountainwater.org. It's all there, very easy to read, and I'm assuming it's ADA acceptable at this point. So the point here tonight is all of this information is public, easily accessible. As such, I've got a few questions concerning the financials. And again, this is not an I gotcha. Some of this I could have easily met with staff and got answers on privately, but I think some of it is illuminating and kind of educational as to what the district is up to. So I've got a few points I'd like to go through, and staff has always been very good at helping me out with this. First up is one of the very first items on the monthly activity is the DERP bid advertisement. Josh, I was under the impression that when we solicited for these bids, it was through some app or through some website. Do we have to pay for that? Okay. And it's very modest.
That could be the point. Yeah, that is the whole posting. So the physical posting we have to post in the local newspaper is also part of that, but we have a subscription to BidNet. And that is the governmental website we use that the majority of special districts, municipalities throughout the state use to advertise their bids.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And as folks can see in the statement, it's modest. It's $100 a month, just over $100. Moving further on down, we received a credit final refund from Land Title Guarantee Company. What was that about?
Sometimes we actually credited the title company, sales don't go through, things like that, so they paid the,
Or what are we using a title company for?
they sent a check for some of the fees that are associated with switching the account to new tenants for the new homeowner.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's mostly for the benefit of the customers.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on further down, we paid just over $1,800 in fuel in January. And I'm wondering how much we anticipate that going up in light of the war and the increased oil prices. Is it something that's easily accommodated by our budget? So in other words, we're at about 1,800 in January. My guess is it'll probably be 40% higher in March.
Yeah, we, as a special district, we don't pay any of the taxes on the fuel and believe it's just at market price, but I can look into.
Oh, we don't need any details. I'm just wondering if you're anticipating a substantial increase. And if I would assume it's not much of a budget hit.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Even if we do exceed it a little bit, we have our contingency to fall back on.
Okay. Moving further on down, Brownsville Engineering and Controls. What is VSAAS for March? What does that mean?
That is VSAS, so that's SCADA as a service, so they host the SCADA network through.
What is the SCADA network?
That's how we monitor all our tank levels, pump.
Oh, okay.
Station, yeah.
That's all the communication links and equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I appreciate that.
And that is a monthly fee.
And moving further on down, IT consultants, business impact analysis, report false positive retainer. What's that about? That's on that same page. IT, it's check number 17887.
I believe
Business,
that's rule 4. That's our cybersecurity consultant that we're plowing through. CISA is like a regulatory compliance thing that I would have maybe a little bit more detail.
but we can talk
Yeah,
offline.
it's related to cybersecurity and beyonds that we have coming this year.
And a quick, easy question, 401A, is that a government version of a 401K or something like that? That's the next line down. Well, I'm assuming it's
Yeah,
directly
yeah,
related
yeah.
to para.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Those contributions are employee paid, and then Green Mountain pays the life insurance.
okay. Clean Freaks, do they just take care of this building or any of the satellite
It's
offices?
just the opposite.
And is that their customary monthly fee for this building?
Is it like 500 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how often do they show up here?
Weekly.
Okay. And as far as paychecks at the bottom of the page there, $180 for timekeeping. What does that mean?
That's our time and attendance application that we use to track employee hours.
Okay. Moving on to the next page, we have FSA claims through the end of February. Is that fair standards? What is
Yeah,
FS?
this flex spending account, that's an employee funded product. They can elect to take money out pre-tax.
Okay,
Into a little fund for any medical expenses that they would have.
Yeah, forensic audit growers check that stuff for us. They do that how often?
It's an annual audit and they're gonna have it next week.
I'm here next week.
So I would imagine they're gonna request one, board member to come in and be interviewed and answer some questions, so that would most likely be you.
Okay,
Secretary. But,
sounds great.
yeah,
okay, moving just a few lines further down, asphalt recycling, Oxford Recycling Incorporated. Apparently, we're paying to have any asphalt that we scrape up recycled. Okay, that's commendable. Sustainability, a couple of lines further down, electronic recycling. Nearly over 5,000 pounds. What is that?
That was a large amount of, and that was actually last April. They had a very delayed billing on that.
Okay,
That was our e-waste, old servers, monitors, stuff that we saved up for several years.
okay, several years worth. Sounds like a lot, 5,000 pounds, but we'll go with that. Further on down, answering service for February, $320. Does the answering service kick in automatically on holidays, after hours, and on weekends, or if the staff should leave early on a Friday, those kinds of things? Okay.
they take the phone call as they would, represent Green Mountain and take the customer call and route. If it's an emergency, it gets routed to the on-call staff, but if it's just a business billing question, something like that, gets handled for the next day.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to the next page, SDA annual dues. I just bring this up is because I was under the impression when I was first elected in my first term that we decided each year on SDA, or is this just automatic renewal?
It's not an automatic renewal, but we get access to training manuals from the board, we get bulletins, things that aren't published outside of the special insurance system.
But I mean, as a board, is it something that we need to reauthorize every year? Or we just decided in the past to just keep going with it?
To be honest, I don't think, I recall and just
And
board action needed for that, but
you need, I don't know if the board ever makes a decision on it. I don't recall that they have specifically, but being a member of the SDA is necessary for being a member of the pool insurance.
Oh, I'm not contesting it, but yeah.
But I think it's integrated with the insurance, so that's how the decision gets made.
Okay, I can live with that. It's automatic and more or less. We could certainly consider it in the future if needed. Moving on to the next page, Spire Building Supplies, fraudulent charge, $9,500. What is that?
so one of our cards was compromised. Not exactly sure how, but the charge was disputed, and if you see down a little bit further, it was refunded back.
Okay. That helps explain it.
The joys of digital currency.
Of course. A little further down that same page, Comcast, $850. Office internet service, is that internet for just this facility, or is it tied in with anything else we do?
It is just for this facility here. We have a lot of static IP addresses and business needs that take the price up above like a residential application.
I was gonna say, it's about 600 more than I paid.
Yeah.
But that's understandable. And QuickBooks Online, apparently that's a monthly fee to maintain QuickBooks.
Yeah, they don't want to support their desktop application. It's a non-service line. A lot of companies are going to like ArcGIS and Adobe and things like that.
Okay, I think, let me just double check here. I think that's everything I had this evening. Okay, that's everything I have. There's a motion on the floor to approve the financials. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Motion passes. Next up is district reports, maintenance report.
Uh, starting out the year, January, we had two main breaks, and we followed it again in February with another two main breaks, two large main breaks. The one on 1075 South Union Boulevard was a 12-inch cast iron high pressure main, which was just adjacent to Dirt 2, Dirt 1 project, where we're replacing water line along Union from Jewel to Taft. So we've actually incorporated that section of main to be added to that project. It's about an additional 400 linear feet. Big main, old, causing issues. In fact, it caused water to be backed up inside of the American Music School, just adjacent to the property there. And based on what their cost was for having a restoration crew come out, it was in our best interest to just go ahead and pay and make them whole rather than file a insurance. So
Okay.
they're very, very good to work with, and yeah, those things happen from time to time. The other one was on Montana Drive. Oh, sorry, the Union was 1960 pipe, Montana was 1972. That main was due to brown movement, so it kind of snapped like a pencil and created a large disturbance on the asphalt there as well. So restoration was kind of spendy, but you know, depending on the quality of the street, how thick it is, what the pressure of the main is, how deep it is, all plays a role on what that's going to end up costing us. And we forecast it as best we can, but you know that budget usually goes over because you know we want to pad it too much and not utilize it. But again, with our contingency handles all of that. So
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we've discussed this at length before, but these are 50 and 60-year-old pipes. Just amazing. Thank you.
I did add in for the drought update. And I threw it on the next slide if you want to switch to that one, Sam.
Yeah, that is really detailed water information, water storage information, and
Yeah, I just took the one slide out of the report that we got.
Yeah.
That is in the board packet if anybody else wants to go into further detail on the Rivershed water levels. As of March 2nd, they were at, I believe, 48 and 56% respectively, and they've since got a report yesterday morning. The Colorado Rivershed is up to 68%, and
that's encouraging.
it's increased a little bit. In the South Platte is, I think, at 58% now. But I still do expect word from Denver Water in the next few days on anticipated watering restrictions, and I believe that there will be mandatory restrictions coming.
Yeah, we discussed this at previous meetings. We're anticipating water restrictions, but very detailed information. And again, I encourage anybody online to take a look at our website. Very good graphics describing reservoir capacity and water flow.
Yeah, and,
Appreciate you
it's also
including that.
available on Denver's site. They have a it's called Water Tap, I believe, Tap headlines, and they're constantly updating the stories and they're on the evolving conditions.
I know Gross Reservoir's got an asterisk on it because it's under construction. Was that finally approved for its full capacity that they were looking for?
No, there's an injunction right now on them being able to fill it up. with the increased dam height, but they were able to finish construction, so I believe they're working through that with the.
Okay.
I had a suggestion from the last meeting with custody of the district here in Mila, and she wanted to have me add in the little blurb on ion water for customers to be able to monitor leaks and see their usage. Not quite real time, but it's within 24 hours. So the meters will update daily with new data. So customers can stay on track of any potential leaks they might have in their system and you know, save themselves some money. So there's so we've got it up there. It's also available on our website. Really easy to sign in. No additional cost to the customer there. It's a very handy tool. Yes, sir.
Josh, does this report is produced by Denver, am I correct?
The Snowtown report is yes.
Is this, when do they produce it? Is this a monthly?
I
yearly,
get them weekly.
weekly? Will you
Yeah.
be updating our website with this information so that people can follow this and kind of track the trend?
We can probably link out to Denver's site,
That would be good.
to where it's hosted at. And that way they'll be able to not only see that, but any other sort of tips and tricks that Denver Water puts out there.
Yeah, I think the more information, at least we stick it out there, the better off we're going to be in terms of people and what's going to happen. I perceive this summer is going to happen in terms of
Yeah.
water restrictions.
Yeah, we can, in our news section, we throw a little drought update.
Okay, we're still on agenda item number 7.
So just to update, the zoning flyer went out to all of the registered voters of the district, and we consolidated the number of registered voters to the physical address. So if there were 3 people that were registered voters at the same property, we only sent 1 flyer to them, so we didn't get the additional cost of sending 3 flyers to the same house.
Yeah, I think it saved quite a bit. We
Yeah,
spent, I think, around 6,000 on postage.
for just the postage.
Yeah, so it's a substantial savings.
We have received some feedback, good and some positive and some negative feedback on that documentation going out, but just very minimal. Couple phone calls, couple emails, so.
Okay.
Development reviews, we had 12795 West Alameda Parkway, which was the old US Forest Service building right there in Alameda in Mississippi.
Park Service?
Park Service, yes, they officially requested a quote for a sewer flow study, and I think have we got that to them yet?
We engaged tomorrow to discuss some meters.
We're meeting with our modeling engineers tomorrow, and we will officially provide them a quote here in the next few days and see where they want to go from there.
Do we have an understanding or an idea of what that building's gonna be used for?
Multifamily.
Really?
I think it was 320 units, something like that. Yeah, several hundred units proposed to go in there.
Are they going to raise that building
I believe they're gonna demo
or demo it? Yeah. Huh,
and just go through the change of use procedure for
interesting.
multifamily.
Okay,
Fossil Ridge filing 21, which is the last filing out there. They've begun with the sewer main installation. So we have our consulting engineers that handle most of our development reviews are out there. It's inspecting the installation of all the sewer piping, manholes and things like that. That will eventually tie into Green Mountain's system to convey the waste away. And as part of that, they need to follow our industry standards engineering standards on installation, so. And that's all on at their expense. So, not costing the district any money.
good.
Other than that, it's been pretty quiet on development reviews. Yes,
Director Morgan. We cannot hear you.
you're currently muted.
Yep,
There you go.
I can't click either, sorry. The, you said to engineering standards for the Fossil Ridge, that was the existing uh designs from years ago before, and they were not enhanced in any way. Is that my, at the time of the settlement and they were going to move forward, the plans were not enhanced at any time at that time for the environmental concerns that we had out there for the shifting and for the placement that was all on the landfill and those things. Do you know of any additional work that has been done since that time for to come up to engineering standards on those?
Um, from my recollection to the court, that we were to review the existing documents that were submitted.
Right.
If any material changes as far as like pipe or standard details have changed to get them updated there, which we have. We have any drop manhole that they would use on the system are now interior instead of exterior, so nothing major at all.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry that that is, but what do we do? Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay,
Moving on to our infrastructure replacement projects. We just had a pre-con today with the city of Lakewood on site where the contractor is gonna start, and we hope that they get their permit approved here in the next week, and they will be rolling out crews, I would say in the next 2 weeks, so construction season's gonna kick off probably 2 months sooner than past years.
wait, mostly based on weather or, okay,
Gonna take advantage of the weather and the tight timeline that we have for uh Dirt 2 to be completed so that the change order for Dirt 4 can be executed. And that contractor Diaz, with between all the pipe that they're installing, will be wrapped up by November 2nd. So we're not gonna get anywhere near super cold freezing temperatures, so that all asphalt restoration will be completed and they'll be able to close the books on that project in that calendar year.
it's encouraging.
This new apartment complex that's being developed there at 12,000 West Alameda. Do we have any kind of anticipated ability to handle the amount of sewer they're talking about? I'm sure we can handle water, it's just, is the sewer the big question?
That is the big question. They're gonna perform a sewer flow study, so they're paying for our engineers to set out sewer meters, and we monitor for a few weeks to get an idea of what the flows are in that region. And then that gets plugged into the bottle all the way on downstream. And any segments of pipe that get flagged to be over our D/D at 0.7.
0.7.
Gets compiled into a technical memo, and any improvements that are necessary will be on the developer to complete.
So the developer will be out there digging up the street?
If the, based on their submittals of what their gallons per day requirements are and how it affects their models, they will be paying a contractor to make the improvements needed.
And then our distribution system for sewer goes from Lakewood to what, the like Consolidateds or something?
It goes, this one will go through like Edinburgh Park to our metering station right there on Tennessee. And that's a common interceptor line Bancroft ties into, and every other district down the line to the treatment plant.
To the treatment plant. And they haven't complained about how much they're using it, or how much, okay. So we should be able to handle it
Well, once we run the model, if there are additional flows that get introduced into the collection system, that will tell us if there's any sort of segments of pipe that exceed that capacity limit. And then we provide them that information and they can elect to make the improvements or not be saving on the district. So DRP 1, we had our bid opening on 2/27. RG, our engineers provided a pretty lengthy list of plan holders and people that were saying they were going to submit bids, but we ended up only having 2.
What do you think the reason is for that?
The reason I think is because we had a option in there for pipe bursting. That was the preferred method for us based on the segment and the disruption of Union for this project.
Is that where you insert another pipe in?
Yeah, and it kind of bursts the overland out of the way to make room for the new line, and it's kind of a specialized skill and contractor that's needed, and so I think that's kind of what scared a lot of contractors away. But based on the 2 that we got and the restoration and the pipe size and the length of pipe and everything,
Is it Deitzler or how do you put it?
yeah, Deitzler Construction, price came in at 2.9, and based on my conversations with RG and the referral letters that we received on their behalf from other municipalities and districts that use them in past construction projects, that they're well capable of completing this project.
Okay, I guess that's something we'll vote on in directors matters.
Correct.
One thing I did note, I wonder if the date is correct on the award. Got March 3rd, notice of award, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. That's just when it was prepared.
Okay,
So we had a bid opening, they compiled the bid tabulations, they validated all their line items, the costs, everything else. And that way it was put together for this meeting so that we stay on our timeline for construction.
sounds good. We'll have discussion on that in a moment.
That's all I had for
Okay, that's all of agenda item 7. Moving on to 8, directors matters. I submitted an agenda item to discuss and consider appointing a director to be the main point of contact for district staff. I'd like to have discussion on that, but I move that we accept this. I move that we have a point of contact for staff off the board of directors. Do we have a second?
I will second for discussion.
All right, Director Morgan seconds it. So here was my idea. I'm critical of the open meetings laws in a small way in certain circumstances. It makes it very difficult to me as an elected body to conduct interviews or anything that's sensitive. We have to bring to the attention of the public, and granted, we can go into executive session and preserve an employee's privacy, or for that matter, contractors or anybody else. It isn't just focused on employees. But I think it makes it very difficult to conduct routine personnel matters. And any of us at any time, as we demonstrated in the past, as board members, can go to staff and ask questions and make suggestions and do all those kinds of things. And staff has always been very accommodating. It's never been a big deal, other than I feel like we're not speaking with one voice. We don't have a point of contact. We're all not on the same page when it comes to various issues with staff, and I'd like to see that tightened up. So I'm proposing with this motion that we have a point of contact. It can be a committee of 2, or it can be one person, but somebody that focuses on employee personnel issues here in the district. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. Maybe I'm not being very clear on this. I'm happy to answer any other questions, but I'd be curious as to anybody else's thoughts on this matter. Okay, it doesn't seem to be a lot of
I
discussion.
guess I don't understand what I'm sorry. I guess I don't
That's
understand what
okay.
you're trying to accomplish. I thought we have a district manager or director. That's one of his focuses of his job. Those are his employees. Ultimately, in a normal structure, we're the board. We're above that. We don't necessarily need to be down undercutting the district manager and going directly to employees below. I think it all should funnel through Josh. I mean, in a normal organizational chart and structure, particularly in business, that's the way things are handled. When you start going around your district manager to work with employees directly, short of, like with the IT department, if you're working on your own personal computer, that's one thing. But making suggestions for them to do certain things without going through the district manager, I think is not the route to go. I think everything really needs to go through the district manager. So as a board, if we have issues that we'd like to see the employees or follow in terms of procedures and stuff like that, we need to discuss that with the district manager, come to a consensus, and then let the district manager deal with the employees at that point. I don't think we need to be adding any extra layers of us being involved and having some point of contact. I think we're being a little bit, you're trying to get a little bit over your head in here. And I have no rationale for this one at all.
Director Martinez, I'm in agreement with you. I didn't make myself very clear. I think where I'm coming from, or where I know I'm coming from, but I'm not expressing, is that, and I'm in agreement with you, Josh runs the shop. I wouldn't normally go to the workers in the street or the staff here in the office with any issues. I would normally go to Josh first, but I think where I'm coming from is if we have any concerns, 3 or 4 of us could approach Josh independently without even knowing it. With various concerns. And I wanted to tighten that up and just have one point of contact for personnel issues.
But
But if it doesn't resonate with the board, I'll let it
that's what
go.
this meeting is for. I mean, obviously that's why we get together. I mean, I wish it was more than once a month, but that's what as a board we get together and discuss, and Josh is present for that. So I just in my mind right now, I don't see it. I can't see where you're coming from on this one.
I'm not going to try to force this issue, but I think to me it would be analogous. For example, say Tim Jones working in the office. 1 or 2 of us had a concern about what Tim was up to, and 1 or 2 or 3 of us went to Josh separately and addressed it. To me, there should be an employee liaison off the board, one person that would normally approach Josh to question whatever Tim Jones is up to in the office. But if it doesn't resonate with the board, I'll let it go.
Well, okay, so how would you know Tim Jones has an issue unless you're running around the office observing things that maybe I'm not sure you need to be observing, or if you have an issue, we bring it up to the board and we discuss it at the board level, and then just have Josh take it from there. I just don't understand where this comes about.
Well, no, you bring up a good point, but I would like to protect Tim Jones' privacy. And I have been known in the past, and I know other board members have done the same, in that we've run across employees in the office or especially out in the field and have contacted the district manager with questions about some particular thing that was taking place, say, on the street. That has happened a number of times over the years.
Well, has it risen to a level that we have to add a liaison officer from the board to troubleshoot this? I don't see it.
Yeah.
Trying to
And
add
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of layers in here. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't need to waste the board's time on this other than to say there are other issues, promotions, raises in pay, awards, time off, all those kinds of things that we've addressed here publicly, that I think a lot of which should have been kept private. So if there's no further discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm not sure about, I don't see if there is an urgent need for another layer. In this kind of a situation, I would say this is not really beneficial to the function of the board or beneficial to the function of our manager. In fact, our manager is kind of, supposed to do that job for us. And so I would say this actually sounds a little bit redundant because Josh is supposed to handle this. And then we asked Josh if it's been handled. It sounds like we're going to remove more of the board from the average everyday question and answers that we're supposed to give to Josh, where there will be more separation between the board and Josh. I really don't like that.
Well, I appreciate what both of you have said, and I'm kind of at a loss here because I'm not very able at articulating what I was envisioning here, but that's fine. Any additional discussion? Somebody has a
Let me
hand up.
throw in,
Oh, go ahead.
can I speak?
Director Whiteman, go ahead.
Yes. Ordinarily, my idea with all issues is let's talk about it one time and then we'll vote on it next time. Now, I don't know, maybe it's been discussed several times and I missed it, but it's kind of news to me. I don't see that it's particularly urgent, and I don't see why not just bring it up at the next meeting. My own haste makes waste. I don't want to do anything tonight.
Well, I would agree with you this evening. It's not an urgent issue. Director Morgan has her hand up.
Thank you. I guess I like a little bit more clarification from Director Wendell. Could you explain when you say that you had things that you wish could have been handled more privately? And I'm getting the sense that you are trying to handle, that you are not saying everything that you would like to be saying right now in order to handle things privately too, or at least with discretion. So, is this something that is, are you more concerned with lower level employees? Because okay, no, here's what I want. Are you concerned with things like performance evaluations and who is doing what job specifically for a person on a promotion? Or are you asking about things like a policy for a promotion overall that you wish we could have done maybe a little bit more detail, but we didn't because it was a public discussion? Was it a big group issue that you're thinking of, or was it down to individuals? Maybe both.
I feel like what I'm asking for is really broad in scope and that it covers everything you just talked about,
Okay.
even more and even less. And it would work in reverse. The district manager, who's always been very communicative with all of us, it's not been an issue. But Josh would have a direct point of contact with the board and say, hey, I have this concern, or hey, I'd like to do X, Y, or Z for the employees. And just so that we had a little bit more privacy and a little bit more discretion before we drag employees as an individual or as a group into the limelight in these public meetings. And again, I know we can go into executive session, and we've done that in the past, but it just seems like it would be a little more efficient to have a point of contact to go in either direction for a wide variety of issues related to employees, employment, personnel, staffing, all those kinds of things, HR kind of things.
Okay. I guess then I'm going to come back to one of your original statements and say that you think that we have a lot of different voices and it would be good to consolidate that to a single point of contact. And in this context for um I like having voices, and I think that in a disparate group, I don't know that we would be able to agree on who that voice would be and for what purpose. But let me ask this to Dylan: Is there uh, is there any legal constraint? Is there any problem with, and I know this comes down to the manager dealing with all of us, and this is just one of the things with the board, but outside of that, if I have a concern and I go to Josh and I say XYZ, and Director Wendell goes to Josh and he says ABC, and I mean, if those are two different voices, that is not a direction from the board. But both of us have the ability to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, both of those things are correct. Multiple directors can go to the district manager and offer what are essentially suggestions, but they don't have the force or effect of board direction.
Okay. Now, if we would have a single point of contact, the other thing um, I have found to be true, um, especially the other thing I have found to be true is that a manager will find a director that he will have a better relationship than others. Um, I know sometimes all of our managers have been very cordial to me in all of my various positions, but that doesn't mean that, we always get along. So all that being said, I don't want to limit our managers' ability to reach somebody else that wouldn't be a point of contact. Is that what you are envisioning? That Director Wendell, that the manager then would go, or staff? I mean, you're saying all staff too, not just the manager, right? So would all
Yeah,
staff be able to go to
because
that one person?
we deal, many of us here on the board deal directly with Doug, Sam, Jess,
Okay,
Josh, some of the senior staff. So I wouldn't
right.
normally approach any of the workers in the street or Becky in the office, not normally. And I wouldn't want to get in the way of Josh. It wouldn't be the idea of dictating to Josh what we wanted done or what we think should be changed, but it'd be a point of contact to bring concerns directly to his attention. And in reverse, he could bounce things off of us, off this committee or off this single person personally, without going public, say, hey, I have a concern about this HR issue. How do you think the board would react, or should the board react? Um, Again, it's not, there's no sense of urgency here. It just seemed to me in the secular long run, it would be more efficient and effective. And again, the idea is not to control Josh or provide him daily direction, anything like that. He's doing just fine. It's just that we have five separate voices that could potentially give him conflicting directives at any time.
Well, I think in my opinion, I understand and I admire the urge to fix a problem, but I also think that it is incumbent upon us directors to isolate a problem if it's a policy level issue that would be involving us and figure out what the policy is. I have several issues and concerns that are floating in my mind. Um, Things that I have not addressed and should
You
at
mean
some point.
concerning this issue or
Yeah,
personnel issues?
both things, but unless I can consolidate it into a motion to be made, I want this policy to be changed. Um, I can't act on that. I can float it. I have done that and floated things by various people in the past. But let me ask, okay, two more questions and then I'll be done. I'm sorry. So how would you feel? I'm not going to put, I'm going to put myself in the place. I am the staff liaison because if it was you, you'd probably be more diplomatic than I am. But this happens all the time. I am the staff liaison, and the staff will hear me and say, "What the heck did she just say? I don't understand," or "That's just crazy." I get that all the time. Now, how would you feel if they had to go outside of the staff liaison to get answers to that question? And that kind of negates the point because, and that's just miscommunication kind of stuff.
So you're saying they would come to the board directly with their concerns because they weren't getting a response out of the liaison?
Yes, how would you feel about that?
Well, I think it doesn't bother me. That's kind of how it is now anyway.
Okay.
It's not often we've had employees come before the board, but it has happened.
So in that case, I guess if they're coming to the board anyway and that's not a problem, then I don't, I guess I'm not worried about that. Then how would any of the board know what to say to bring up a concern with the liaison without, I guess I feel a little bit of concern with how the liaison would figure out what kind of position to take or even how to gather people's information without breaking open meetings rules.
Yeah, that's the weakness in my proposal, and I alluded to that with the open meetings law earlier in my statement. I don't know if there's a good way to do it. I know that we can do it and we have done it, but my goal would be to maintain more privacy to protect the employees and the district manager and whomever else is involved. So that's probably the weakness in my argument right there. That I don't know how we consolidate that opinion. We can do it. We've done it in the past, but we have to do it publicly. So it almost negates the need for that point of contact.
Okay, well, I think that answers my question on how I will proceed. Maybe we can come up with answers to that in future. Thank you.
Okay, looks like we have a hand up from Director Weichman, I think. Is it
No,
or is it
it's
Martinez, AJM? Yeah.
me. AGM stands for Arthur Jerome Martinez. I think you're just trying to create a level here where you're trying to give one person the authority and power to deal with Josh directly and handle and make policies aside from the board. And that's counterproductive of what the board's all about. We have to have a quorum to vote on everything. And if you decide to make up positions that it's going to allow this person, whoever that may be, whoever you think it may be, that is just totally wrong. And I've yet, since I've been here, had an issue where I've seen anybody from the staff come up and present any issues to the board. As long as I've been here, you've been here a little longer than I have, but if a member of the staff has any issues, he should first go to Josh, and then Josh, if there's something that Josh feels he needs to bring to the board, then he should bring it to the board. If that does not incur or happen, then it would be incumbent upon that person to go ahead and go straight to the board. But I have yet to see that. So every argument you're bringing up here doesn't hold any water at all. So this is just totally bonkers. And I just see a ploy here to try to create a position where somebody would have a way to sidestep the board and deal directly with Josh, and that's wrong. Because we have a board in place, and the board is there in place in order to make policy, not leave it up to one person.
Okay, any further discussion? I don't see any additional hands. We've got a motion on the floor. All in favor? And 4 opposed. Motion fails. Thank you. All right, next up, notice of award recommendation. I think it's pronounced Deitzler. Is that it? Deitzler, excuse me. So I move that we accept Deitzler's bid. We have a second for that motion. And any further discussion? Josh, if you care to maybe summarize it one more time for us.
Yeah, based on two bid openings, I know these went in reverse order, but it was just a matter of getting plans approved. there were a ton of plan holders and a ton of contractors that were expressing interest in bidding, so we expected to have more than we had for dirt two on this bid opening, but we only had two show. And to summarize, I believe it was the pipe bursting option that scared a lot of contractors away on not bidding that portion of it correctly.
Is that a new technology? Is it? No?
It's not a new technology, but it's kind of specialized. There's not a lot of contractors out there that do the work, and and I don't know what sort of resources these contractors had to find the contractor, because if that's the route we went, that we're not gonna understand why some of that is not been on the project. Well, we're gonna have to rethink and talk with our engineers again on future pipe bursting projects, because there will be some that's just the way we have to go, with depth and sort of easements and crossings and things like that. And an example I can give is, when we did a little line looping down in the green zone by the old Jeffco Health Facility, we had cross Kipling, and that was a war project, and that's what took place. So.
And is the capacity usually similar when they burst a pipe like that?
It's you can go size for size, or they can actually upsize by one or two sizes depending on the material that they're bursting out of the way. And being cast iron, we could have, if needed, gone a size larger. So it's a very, very nice process.
Seems like it's win-win, especially like on Kipling or some other busy place. Yeah. Okay, any further discussion? We do have a motion on the floor to accept, I apologize, Dietzler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous, thank you. Next up, I believe, is legal matters. And we have our general counsel here, Dylan.
Yep, and I can give you an update on the various litigation matters. No reason for an executive session today, although I anticipate that there may be a need for an executive session in April or May on some of the litigation matters. So the rezoning lawsuit against Lakewood has been set for trial in December. That will provide plenty of time to navigate the outcome of the April election. It's set for a 3-day trial, and the Ravine matter is set for trial in September. We're currently attempting to schedule mediation sometime in May on that.
And that's required by law.
That's required. Prior to that, we will likely be engaging in some discovery, including depositions of City of Lakewood folks who have knowledge about the matter. We'll keep you updated. It's possible that someone with the district may be deposed as well on that issue. The Timmons trial case, there is a hearing set on May 4th for a determination of an award of costs. In general, costs such as experts, deposition transcripts, filing fees, material items like that are awardable to the prevailing party. We have made an argument that costs are not awardable against a government, and the court has yet to rule on that motion, so that may occur at the hearing. The Timmons appeal, we're waiting on the record to be certified to the Court of Appeals before the briefing schedule issues. Probably the record will be certified this week or next. We just got the transcripts last week. So the opening brief on that will likely be due mid to late April. On the federal center litigation, litigation counsel will be filing a status report, updating the court regarding the status of the settlement. We received all of the necessary documents to finalize the exclusion petition, and I filed that with the district court last week. So now we just wait for the district court to issue their order. Once the judge does that, we will record it with the county clerk and recorder, get a certified copy of it, we'll provide it to everyone and we'll record it, and that will finalize the district's involvement. The landowner and City of Lakewood and Consolidated Mutual will have their own actions to take after that, but that concludes the district's involvement with the property. Likewise, on the Fed Center non-litigation matter, I have been in touch with the attorney assigned to the matter, and I brought her up to speed on the history of the project, the history of the relationship between the GSA and the district's current request for release of the reserved capacity. I provided her all of the underlying documents that are necessary for her to review to evaluate that. That conversation was, I had that only about 2 weeks ago, so I will follow up with her this week. I'm anticipating that that's going to be sort of a low priority for her based on just staffing, but I'm hopeful to have a substantive response before the middle of the year. That's what I asked her for. So that is all the litigation matters outstanding. I have been working with staff and directors on various matters, but none of them are especially nothing to raise to anybody's attention. So that's legal, unless anyone has any questions for me.
I don't see any
Yeah,
hands raised. Oh, I guess we do.
I do, yeah. Okay, how to word this? Okay, I understand that legal elements are in play. That being said, what are the non-legal elements that could be in play? A little hidden Easter eggs and stuff like that. My feeling has always been they're going to come up with some sort of gotcha and pull something up on us. And so with that in mind, I'm not seeing any gotchas or anything like that, but are you reassuring me that all is on track and no surprises?
Are you talking about the Fed Center?
Right, yes.
Yes, I am. I have never, ever seen a motion for inclusion or exclusion not be granted. And I'm not aware that there is even the possibility for a judge to have any discretion in that. It is essentially a ministerial function. So the only thing standing between today and the final exclusion of the Fed Center property from the district is the judge's schedule.
Okay.
And once excluded, that piece of property has the same relationship to the district as Aurora.
Okay.
Right, and one of my concerns is they could still come back and say, as a good neighbor, wouldn't you like to do something with us? Well, I don't want to be their good neighbor, so forget that. But that's a heck of a lot different than when they were saying they were a member of our district and we owed them certain obligations. So that's a whole different, can of worms. So far, so good. Everybody's on track.
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
Okay.
any additional discussion or questions? None heard, none seen. It covers.
Director Morgan has it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep,
Director
no, I'm
Morgan.
sorry. I am slow. You mentioned mediation for the ravine.
Yes.
Will we need to assemble a team? I would like to participate if possible.
That's the executive session that I was referring to. That's what will likely require an executive session either in April or May.
Okay.
To prepare for and determine who's going to attend that.
Okay. We have time then. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, that covers agenda items 9, 10, and 11. We're on to number 12 now, new business. Any new business? Director Morgan.
Well, yes, I would like to bring back, if there's interest in your agenda item from before. Like I said, I was a little confused as to what was going on, if we were actually handling the subject at that time or adding it to the agenda for future. So, there is time
This is
to
the
add,
idea of the president's message.
yes.
Okay.
Um, so if you would like to add that for a discussion item in future meetings, we can do that. I will say um, I would encourage all future presidents to keep that in mind. I don't know that anybody has ever said that I am quiet or lacking a voice. So I don't know that I need any special time. But if we see that I should be doing that, let me know and I will put something together in future and I can do that. A brief thing in the beginning, or I can make something available online. I want information to get out there. Just tell me what is needed and, we'll make it happen.
I can certainly propose an agenda item for the next regular meeting. And my idea is just that the president kind of represents the board and it's an opportunity to bring forth any concerns or any alerts or anything of that nature formally at the very beginning of the meeting. And I would suggest that we normally do it right before public comment. And doesn't have to be extensive. We can limit it to just a few minutes, but the idea being maybe the president speaking on behalf of the board or for the majority of the board or whatever's on the president's mind that's of concern to the district. That's a formal place where it can be brought to the attention of the board and our community.
Okay.
So I'll propose an agenda item.
Okay. I would appreciate a little bit more since I do add a lot of agenda items as needed. So like I said, I feel like my voice is loud there. So I personally don't know what else I would need to do to expand that. So if you would like to see something else that, if I have a concern, I put it on the agenda as a discussion item. So, I wouldn't want to repeat anything. So if anybody else has things that they would like to see or if we need further discussion on it. But that would be my question for future discussion items.
All right, we'll bring it up in April then. Any further discussion, any further new business? Nothing heard. The time is 7:48 local and I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.